Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's a match preview of West Ham United against Manchester City. Pep versus Pele. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on the citizens?
My bum's squeaking so much I feel like I've sat on a mouse. Honestly, they're brilliant. They're by far and away the best team in the country, and I don't mean that to be nasty to Liverpool or anything like it. I just think they're a level above even that fantastic Liverpool team who reached the Champions League final. Where do you start? I mean, what's happened to Raheem Sterling? He just looks brilliant. Looks, dare I say it, almost like a world-class player. Sergio Aguero is one of the best strikers that's ever been in the Premier League. I think Mendy might have got an injury, so I need to take him off fantasy football team, actually. Sane, what do you want? De Bruyne, I think I read something the other day, and it says Man City injury crisis ahead of clash with West Ham. Oh, this is good. So Bernardo Silva, they should be all right. They've got so many good players.
Yeah, would you call you say how good they are? I agree with you. Is this the best ever team in the Premier League for you, or they're not quite there yet?
I don't think sometimes you can look at history and nostalgia makes you misty-eyed a little bit. And Manchester United had some very, very good teams. I think Jose Mourinho's first Chelsea team, we had Damien Duff and Ian Robin with Drogba and whatnot, was a very Lampard, Terry was a really good team. Giggs, Beckham, Keane, Scholes. There's been some good teams, but I tell you what, I think in terms of the modern day game and how it's played, if you like that football, which is pass, they've got to be the best for that technical style of football.
Yeah, I think they've been possibly the best entertaining team ever in Premier League from what I've seen. The only one I would maybe consider them against is the season that Arsenal went invincible. That's the only team I would maybe pick over. I think Henry, Perez, Ljungberg, Vieira, those kind of players. But it's very hard to argue. But then this is where I'm going to be a little bit naughty. And I've just said the Premier League team, I think City need to have European success first before then, Man United's treble winning side, for example. I think once they go get that trophy that's eluding them so far, then I think that's them in the best ever team in Premier League history. They've got lots of good players, lots of world-class players. Gonzo, who would you pick out as their most important player? Difficult question.
It is a difficult question. And I bet if you were to ask Guardiola, he'd probably say something weird like the goalkeeper, because he likes to keep everybody's he likes to keep everybody's feet on the ground. I think probably by general consensus, it would probably be David Silva, who's having the season of his life. But even without him having this fantastic season where he started getting the goals, he was always the fulcrum. He was always the hub, the metronome, if you like, that made the rest of the team tick. He's a very, very good player.
Yeah, I think Fernandinho actually is probably the irreplaceable one, because there's no one that can do his role in that City team. But David Silva for me as well is just utter class. By the way, we're David Silva's second favourite team to play against statistically. Newcastle's his best one. He's in 11 appearances against West Ham. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists. So watch out for the little Spaniard running the show at the London Stadium. If the season finished now, we obviously did our West Ham review of the season so far. So if we had to do a Premier League review of the season so far, who would be your sort of PFA Player of the Year?
Oh, that's a tough one, actually. I was expecting that. Bit sneaky. But yeah, it might be someone like Silva. It may well be. It may well be. Yeah, someone like Silva. Masuaku.
It's definitely a Silva for me as well. It's David Silva for me as well. I think what impresses me about City this season, I don't think Vincent Kompany gets into their starting 11 anymore. Even a fully fit Vincent Kompany. I think Stones and Laporte have been fantastic at the back for them. And that's what's really impressed me with this season. Last season, I always felt like City would concede. Although they would score 3, I think their opposition would always get a goal. This season, I don't think that anymore. I think when they go away from home, especially, they're keeping clean sheets now. And that's not something I've always associated with City under Pep Guardiola. Of course, they brought in Ederson as well, but it's that centre defence partnership for me, which is really flourishing. They've not conceded a goal from open play since Stones came back into the team, which was against Liverpool at the start of October. Their defence is solid. They've got class all over the pitch. Bernardo Silva, actually, I think is having an absolute fantastic season. when they signed him, or when at the start of this season, I thought, okay, De Bruyne will start in there, Sterling's going to start in there. Then you've got Sané, Bernardo Silva. They spent big money on Mahrez. I thought Bernardo Silva would probably be at the bottom of the three. In all honesty, I thought he was going to be the one that would struggle for game time. Actually, he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet. I know he's missing this game, but I think he's been terrific this season. While we were talking about David Silva, I think Bernardo Silva is so far arguably the best player this season. Last question on Man City. Is winning the Premier League this season enough for Pep Guardiola, Gonzo? Or does he have to get the Champions League? What is the minimum requirement for the Etihad Stadium?
No, I don't think it's the minimum requirement. I think they want it, and I think they want to start developing a European history, if you want. I mean, you've got to remember these clubs, Man City and Paris Saint-Germain, basically are national football teams. They have a country. They literally have the wealth, the oil wealth of a country behind them. They will both turn around and say they make them, they make a profit. And we all know that their sponsorship deals that keep them in financial fair play are from their own country and are from the same, it's the same money. It's the same money. So when you have that much funding, you've got to be going for the Champions League. And I think every season that both those clubs, PSG and Man City, don't, I think they would probably consider it to be a disappointing season. I think that, I mean that from the owner's point of view. I'm pretty sure the Man City fans who had a lot of yo-yoing in their time, they've been up and down, and, even went down 2 divisions and still held their fan base. I'm sure a lot of the traditional hardcore fans are probably not thinking it's Champions League or bust. I imagine they're still pinching themselves a little bit winning league titles.
Yeah, I do think eventually, though, it's not going to be the minimum requirement. I'm not saying he should get sacked if he fails to win the Champions League, but I think winning the Premier League is an accomplishment. It's a longer competition. It's 38 games compared to like your standard group stage. And while there's no easy group stage in the Champions League, there's easier ones than usual. And majority of us can pick out which 2 teams, or at the very least, will struggle with picking between 2 of them, which ones are going to advance in knockouts. I don't really pay too much attention to the Champions League until the knockouts for that particular reason. But I do think he needs to deliver the Champions League at some point. And when he does, I think that's when we can say that's possibly the best team we've ever seen in the Premier League history. And I think they will do it. But what would not concern me as a City player fan, because they've got all the money in the world, etc. But Fernandinho and David Silva, 2 players we're talking about as being they're more important ones. They're getting on a bit. They're going to need replacing in the next couple of seasons. They might already have them there. Foden will come into the mix at some point as well. But I do think that this is their time. I think this is their season. Aguero's in his form of his life still. He's been in it since he arrived in England. Sterling is now not only running like a velociraptor, but he's scaring defences as if he was a dinosaur. So they've got all the ingredients there. It's just a case of can they win it. I wouldn't be surprised if they did win the Champions League as well as a title this season. The boats on Saturday are running as always before and after the game. Sits on the canal right behind the East Stand out on the same 2 minutes from your seat, no matter where you're sitting in the ground. It's kids go free all season. You need to get a ticket for them though, but if adults want to get their ticket as well, the link is in the description. So come join us for a beer and a burger before and after the game on Saturday. Gonzo, let's talk about West Ham. One player played the last game, won't be playing this game. Snodgrass, he's accumulated 5 yellow cards, so we'll sit this one out. However, we've got 3 players back in the squad. Mark Noble's back from suspension. Andy Carroll played in a behind-the-doors friendly last weekend, managed to not get injured, and he's in the squad. And also, Pellegrini's indicated that Jack Wilshere will also be in the squad after training all week. So, good news all around for the team news.
Good news for West Ham. That's Mark Noble comes back into the team for me, but I think to have Wilshere, if he makes the bench, and obviously you said Raheem Sterling, Velociraptor, West Ham have got their own dinosaur, haven't they? The ponytail Diplodocus in Andy Carroll, sitting on the bench waiting to come on and score with a header. So it's got to be good news for us. We need all the players we can get.
Obviously, another player we're missing that was in the squad for the last game is Ryan Fredericks. He obviously is out for a long time, at least 3 months. So for a while, is that the only change you made to the starting 11? Then the back from suspension, Noble in for the now suspended Robert Snodgrass, and keep the other 10 the same.
I think so. I mean, it wasn't the best of results, was it? Let's be fair, in the last game, but I think so. I think so. It also wasn't a loss. So, look, I mean, I do this. This has a. I don't matter what we do. This has a feel of rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic to this. I think we could, doesn't matter who we play where. I think we're hitting the iceberg and going down in this game. But I would keep the team the same, and I still think even if we did lose, because there will still be some positives that we can take from this game, and we've got a really good run coming up after that. I think team cohesion and the team gelling and learning to play with each other and getting used to each other will have its benefits further down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to make changes, but there's just not that much options, in all honesty. There's not really anything. The one position of the pitch I would like to see changes in is the centre midfield. Obviously not Declan Rice, but Obiang and obviously Snodgrass is suspended. Those two positions I'd like to change. Noble comes in. There's no one else to come in for the other one. They play by default. Now, I would start Zabaleta, but just as an example, we've now got no cover at right back. The centre backs pick themselves. Fabianski picks himself. Anderson picks himself. I wouldn't be surprised if he was to change Diangana, actually, for some reason, but there's no options unless he's going to go with Antonio or something. But Andy Carroll's back. How big a difference is it going to be having Andy Carroll in the squad? Because the last couple of games we've done a review together and that we've generally felt that we wished we had Carroll to bring on. Well, now we do.
Yeah, well, I would rather Andy Carroll as an option than Lucas Perez, for instance. If I had to put a fiver on one of them scoring a goal, it would actually be Andy Carroll. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. This is what he does. He gets injured for large periods. He comes out and looks really good to score some goals before he inevitably gets injured again. So there's something about Andy Carroll. He seems to be able to play to a level of performance because of his style of play and what he does, where he almost doesn't need to train. A lot of players would be off their game, not just players, boxers, rugby players, anyone. If you didn't play for months and months and months or do whatever sport you specialised in, there's no way you would go back into it at the same level. But he seems to be able to, I guess maybe because he's not that technical and his game is about strength and he's got good in-game intelligence as well. It's a good option for us. Not so much for this game, but as I say, the next 4 or 5 after, to have Andy Carroll as an option will really benefit us.
I think it could be a good option for this game, not from starting though. If we were somehow miraculously winning, okay, there's no one I want up front more than Carroll, because when our defence do just boot the ball, rather than again pung back at us, we've actually got a guy up front who might win the ball. He might just flick it onto 15 yards of space and no one's going to run after it, but it just slows the game down a bit. It gets us out and he will worry their defenders. Stones would probably rather play against Hernandez and Andy Carroll, for example. And even if we're losing, great, we're bringing on the big guy and we turn him into the target man. We put Arnautovic next to him and say, you feed off this big guy if you like. But speaking about Arnautovic, obviously the last couple of weeks, there's been loads and loads of press about Gonzo. His agent's been running his mouth and stuff. Arnautovic has done a couple of... while Declan Rice has done a cryptic one on Twitter the other day, Arnautovic hasn't been doing anything cryptic. He's literally gone on Instagram. He's done it tonight as well and just said, I'm not going anywhere. There's nothing to worry about. Has this guy got, well, not a point to prove on Saturday, but do you think this is going to rile him up and we're going to see the best of Arnautovic? Quite
possibly. I mean, and he's good when he's rolled up. You remember him sort of giving gestures to Mark Hughes when we played against them. He did with Stoke and Southampton. He had very good games against both, wasn't it? Because Hughes managed both teams within the same season, and he saw it. I think now Arnie stuck it to him in both games. So yeah, I mean, when he's got the ump and he's got a point to prove, certainly. Will that manifest itself on Saturday? I don't know. Who knows? But there's nothing wrong with him having a bee in his bonnet.
Yeah, I think we will. I think sometimes we can see a £15 million Arnautovic where he looks a little bit disinterested. Against Huddersfield, I don't think his body language was all that great. For example, he's clearly frustrated. I think he's more frustrated at Antonio than anything else, but he's clearly frustrated, throwing his arms up in the air and stuff. But I think on Saturday, I think we're going to see the potential £45 million Arnautovic come out a little bit. I think that guy's going to be up for it completely. And while I said Stones might not be fussed about playing against Hernandez, I think he will be fussed about playing against Arnautovic on Saturday. He will be up for it. Would you change anything from this? We all know how Pellegrini's been playing at West Ham. The Man City fans will know how Pellegrini plays as well. Would you change anything tactically to try and counteract City's strengths, or would you just play our own game and hope that we can get something.
Yeah, well, I think Man City fans might be slightly surprised with what Pellegrini's doing because he's not committing as many men forward. Having said that, I think we are going to have a little bit of possession against them. I don't think we're going to, famous last words, I don't think we're going to have 20% possession and now have 80, which is, you know, what's happened. I mean, I remember last season, the season before, I don't even know, but I remember I was doing a vlog, and I remember doing a vlog, and I said, you know what? There's no point me carrying on doing this. I've not done this because it was 5-0. I said, I've done a 6-0 one the other week. There was no point. And those are sort of really bad days. I don't think we're quite that bad in terms of tactics. I want us to have some positives coming out of the game. So I would just stick to what he's doing, really, because I think that's what will see us through in the games that follow.
The only thing I would change is Zabaleta's runs, in all honesty. He does get forward a lot and stuff, and while it'd be nice to see him do that, I think against City, I think I would be telling him just to stay back and don't enter the final third. Just leave it. Just do not go unless we're losing. But while we're drawing, while it's 0-0, just do not take any risks. Do not let Raheem Sterling get in behind you or Sané. He's going to be up against one of them, the two fastest players on the pitch probably. Do not give them that space. Sit back as far as you can and just eliminate that green grass in between you and the goal line. Because when we do sit back against a big team, Zabaleta performs well for a reason. That's because there's no room behind him. It's when we play the likes of Bournemouth and that, bless them, that Zabaleta is found 30 yards from the goal line, one-on-one against someone, and that's when they can knock it past him and go past him. So I'd be keeping Zabaleta restrained. I'd even be keeping Creswell and Masuaku restrained and keeping that 4 at a very, very tight 4. And Rice is not allowed to move too far from the centre-backs either. The only problem is that concerns me is that leaves you 3 attacking players. The 2 other midfielders, at least Snodgrass was attacking. At least Snodgrass would get into the final third. He would try and link up with Anderson. Noble and Obiang don't do that. And that's what concerns me. I think when we attack, I think there's a potential. We're only going to have 3 players attacking, and that's it. We don't really have anyone else. And that's up to Pellegrini to try and come up with a master plan. But less of the master plan. Are you optimistic at all for this one, or are you just sort of expect nothing, can't be disappointed?
No, I'm literally going to get drunk. Let's be perfectly honest here about it. I'm not expecting anything. I'm going to go there, cheer the team on, and they'll get no stick from me for losing either. They really won't. I'm just turning up to support the team, to have a laugh with my mates, really, and those are my only expectations for the day. It's sad, isn't it? But I just think the Premier League has gone. Unfortunately, it's not the Bundesliga in terms of one team. Perhaps it's not the best season to say that, but you know what I mean. These teams, your own Scotland and France and Germany, where you have these singular teams that go off in the distance. I don't think we're there in the Premier League, but I just think the gap is now so vast. And they're just so good. So they are one of, if they don't win the Champions League, they are still probably one of the top 4 teams in Europe, if not the world, and we're just not at that level yet. So no, I'm not optimistic at all. They've got a place to burn. I think they're frightened us to death, and I think Balbuena and Diop have really got their hands full. But I think if we do ship a few, it won't be any reflection on them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I remember when we last couple of seasons when we been in a relegation battle. I don't think we are in one this year. But I always say to you, if we go down, it's not because you got beat against Manchester City at London Stadium. And this is what I'm going to use for, if we don't finish in the top 10 this year, it's not because we lost against Manchester City at home. If we get something, that's why we might finish in the top 10, but it's not why we won't. They are just far too good. They've got world-class all over the pitch. The keeper, the striker, the midfield, the defence, world-class everywhere. We don't even have one world-class player. All I ask for on Saturday is effort. I think there was a lack of effort against Huddersfield. There was a lack of, what do you want to call it? While there's a lack of creativity, there was a lack of team cohesion, if you like, a little bit. I don't think there was work rate was missing. As long as we see that on Saturday, I'll be happy. That's the only thing I'll complain about. If we get beat, fine. But if we get beat lying down, that's when I'll be a bit grumpy, if you like. I can accept getting beat by better teams as long as we put in 100% commitment. We can take it. But Gonzo, neither of us feeling too optimistic. I think we're both going to be predicting a City win. But would you like to give me a score for it, please? Yeah,
I originally thought 3-0, but I think there's a possibility we could score a goal. So I might go for 3-1 or 4-1. Be optimistic, 3-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for 3-1 as well. I think we'll sneak something, but they've just got far too much for us. Anyway, you guys at home, let us know what you think, and drop your comments below. Let us know what team you would start and your score predictions as well. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new around here. Also, we myself and Gonzo have done a Premier League preview where we look at the other 9 fixtures in the league, and we skim through them pretty quickly, giving our a sentence on each game and a little prediction. And that video is on your screen now. But thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back on Saturday night with a review of the game. And Gonzo, you doing a vlog of you getting drunk and us getting spanked?
I think so.
Well, that might be a vlog I'm doing not look forward to. Just in case West Ham win, it'll be an excellent vlog. Thank you for joining us.